my 1971 Charger. Two-piece rotors. I took the pads out so I could easily roll it around, because I've been pushing this around for a long time. No engine. I took the engine out. I'm going to take the upper control arm off, but I will have to loosen the lower torsion bar anchor bolt, which I will lube very well. We'll take it out with an air tool. I'll be using Freeall from Walmart. I'll spray the anchor bolt really well. I'm going to spray the bolt on top of the control arm. I'm going to take this little piece off that covers it. That's access to that. To break it. I'm going to use it. Or at least use it as a pattern to make a new one. With the right tool, you can get them off without breaking them. And if you need to replace them, you gotta buy them, or you could make your own. The cam bolts, spray them down really good, nice and heavy. Don't be cheap with the lube. Same thing for the ball joint nut. There's always the ball joint on. And I'll try and take this off. In order to make it easier to handle everything, we'll take the caliper adapter and the caliper and the rotor off. And since I'm not reusing these brake lines, nice tool to have around. Another tool that comes from another industry that works great. And I cut the brake line. Taking the caliper adapter bolts off. I can take the caliper and the adapter off together. I already took the bottom one and loosen that one up. I can just loosen the top one. And there you go. That gives you a chunk of weight you don't have to play with anymore. These are either going to get rebuilt, or I'll probably send them in as cores to replace them. I would be using the larger adapter anyway, because I want to put the bigger brakes on it. As the lower ball joint bolts on to the spindle, so you don't even need to really press this ball joint out like you do on the later models. Now you have access to the cotter pin that's in here. First I'm going to take the torsion bar pressure off. It's nice because it's all 3/4. Everything is 3/4. I like that. There goes that. Air tools are a must. Doing this by hand at 60, not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. So no, not going to do it. Anyway, upper control arm, same thing, 3/4. What we're going to do this one, we're going to take and put a wrench on one side. If you notice the way the factory did it, they left the threaded one on the outside with the head in the inside, so that's how we're going to leave it. I got to remove this cotter pin off though to make it a little easier for me to remove that. Shouldn't be too bad. It's just easier to remove the cotter pin now. Get the cotter pin out, no problem. And loosen this. It'll be easier once you take the control arm off to get it out. And it's hard to get a tool in there, so it's best to just use a nice long ratchet to do the job. Yep, 7/8. Okay. Loosen that up. Because if I wasn't going to take the control arm off, and I wanted to take the ball joint off, now's the time to do it. Leave a couple of threads on the ball joint, okay? And you can smack it with a hammer, or you could use the tool. You could use the spreading tool. I have that, but since I'm never ever use it that often, I just use that. Harbor Freight Chief Air hammer, long barrel, with the hammer style for the tool. There you go, she's loose. Yeah, I'm going to take the rotor off because that'll make it a little wider for me. Take the cotter pin off of this. Should be pretty easy. Always replace the cotter pin with a new one. They're cheap. I won't have much tension on there. Nope. I'll put it back later when I assemble. I just wanted to take some weight off of it. I'll probably just separate this. I just want the hub to be on there, so I can move it around, make it a little lighter. Every couple of pounds makes it easier to push this big B body around. Alright, now we'll get to that point. Pretty easy. A lot lighter to pull up now on it. Okay, a lot lighter. It's loose on here, no problem. Now if I wanted to replace the ball joint, I would just go get my ball joint socket and remove the ball joint while it's still attached to the car. Okay, after having to fight with that nut and taking it off, there it goes. Spindle's laying off to the side. Nuts, as you can see, I cut the nut off. Not a problem. I always win. Now, at this point, if all I was going to do is replace the ball joint, I just zip the ball joint right off. Let's see how zippy it is after 52 years. Put the correct socket. This is all I have to do is remove this ball joint. I'll put some lube on there. Seats really well. A little bit of grease or dirt in there. Nice tight fit. Pretty tight fit. 50 some years, man. She out. There you go. At this point I would just put another ball joint in and go. Put it all back together again. But since I want to take the control arm, let's try that. With the control arm, it's a 3/4 on both sides. Doing a 3/4 wrench on one side to hold it in place, and socket on the other side. If I can fit this gun in, it would be nice. If I can't, I'll have to go the other way. Might try my shorter gun, see how that goes. Or maybe I'll just try universal, see what happens with the universal. Make sure the universal you use is one used for air, not a regular tool, because you don't want to shatter it and have those pieces of metal screw you up. That's pretty much there for that one. You just get the other one. The other one's going to have to come from the top and over. Now the hard part is getting this guy in here. I could just take the shock off, give me access to that. Just so you understand, there's no need to play with the shock. I'm not going to reuse the shock. These things are freaking 50 years old. Smack, it's going to go away. Goodbye. As you can see, the universal fits right in there for that stuck bolt. So I'll pull that bolt out with the air, no problem. Loosen it up. Now all I can do is hammer it out. It goes without saying you need to use a lot of lubricant in these if they've been sitting a long time. Even if they've been sitting only 10 or 15 years, they need a lot of lubricant. The inside now, because I'm doing this one, and I'm getting this one out. And I'll do the same thing with the other side. And you can see there was a lot of rust in there. And that's your major problem in that. And getting that one out. Now we're going to get the other one out. Okay, with the wrench on the other side and a rag to hold the wrench onto, you got to understand that these have cam bolts. So the whole bolt is going to turn when I do this. And the cam is going to turn. It's easier the other way, so we'll do it the other way. And let the outside cam bolt be loosened first. What happens when you try to shortcut it? It really doesn't work. Now I'm on the outside and the inside of the engine bay, and I'm holding the other one. Much faster. If you're going to reuse these, don't lose the hardware to them. Keep all the hardware. Lots of times you can reuse them. This one should take the cam bolt out. Okay. See if it'll move. We'll tap it on the other side. As you can see, once I loosened the outer cam that was on the front of it, inside the engine bay, it's now much easier to pull the whole thing out. And you can see, and now I can take the control arm out. Oh, the bushing is so bad. Horrible. Okay, I'll be replacing those. There she goes. Look at that. Look at that bushing. Look at that old rubber. Luckily there's nice polyurethane for these. I'll sandblast this and use it up later on. I've got many sets of those. Well, there you go. Now assembly is basically reversing everything and putting it all back together again. Yeah, not a bad deal. Surely takes a lot of work though. Thanks for watching.